I fully agree. I mean, this is a very, very dismal story. There are a lot of studies done on it. I have done a study on the Chinese system. And the Chinese, in 1980, 79-80, they used to make a few small coastal ships. Now, Deng Xiaoping, when he became the president of China, he actually was the person who changed the focus towards the seas, because he realized that China's destiny lay over the seas. But tab tak, fortunately, they had settled their borders with the Soviet Union then, and in 91 the Soviet Union collapsed. So what he did was, they had certain state-owned industries which used to make small ships. And most of the ships were then made by Japan, as you know. It was only later on that South Korea. Japan was the biggest shipbuilder in the world. They got expertise from Japan. They set up their shipyards. They subsidized their state-owned shipyards. They pumped in a lot of money there to make ships cheaply and grab the market and build up the infrastructure. So what they have done is that because of that, they undercut the industries across the world. So Western shipbuilding collapsed because they could not make ships cheaper. Japanese shipbuilding collapsed, they could not make it cheaper. South Korea is, of course, much more smarter. So essentially the fact is that it was a state-owned intervention, which is there today also. They have broken every rule in the WTO copybook, I don't have the time to go into it, to ensure that their exports are cheaper than the others. And the kind of infrastructure that they have today, and they've established, as you yourself said, 1/3 of the shipbuilding by them. China is also the largest merchant ship owner, not just Chinese ships, Chinese owned ships, Hong Kong flagged ships, Macau flagged ships, Panama flagged ships, you name it. So today, if you want to pinpoint कि ये Chinese ship है, it is very difficult because they are under different guises and they are all international, many of them. So you can't really pinpoint कि ये Chinese ship है because it is maybe owned by somebody in Greece, but it is owned by a company based in Hong Kong, which has got a principal based in China, etc., etc. So this is something that the Indian government should have done in the 60s actually. But we sort of missed out in the 60s in a shipbuilding policy. We did not give that subsidy that should have been required. And today it is very difficult to catch up because the cost of shipbuilding in India, there are good shipbuilders coming up. Cochin Shipyard is making good ships in the smaller category. So we now need to support these shipbuilders. And one very important thing for defense shipbuilding is also, the private sector has to be vitalized. Because the real energy and genius lies in the private sector because they are more cost conscious. Now, uske liye you have to have stability of orders. Stability of orders because we will order an aircraft carrier once in 20 years. तो अगर हम हर एक टाइम ओपन वेंडर में दे देंगे बिल्ड करने के लिए कि भाई everybody bid, then there will be no incentive for the established shipbuilder. So we need to have mechanisms which is there in the USA where we can give single vendor orders with cost consciousness for certain big weapon systems. Yeah.